Hello and welcome to my channel where we explore how to create sustainable success. And I'm super excited for two reasons. First of all, because of my special guest, my first interview of this series, Lois Creamer, and because today is launch day for my book. So thank you, Lois, for being here and for celebrating this launch and kickoff. Super excited to have you here.
I'm excited to be here, and I'm part of this launch. I have been all over this since we knew this was coming, and I could not be more thrilled for you. I think you have great message for us all.
Thank you, Lois. So for those of you that haven't met Lois yet, let me just give you a brief introduction. So Lois has created and is the founder of Book More Business. She works with speakers and consultants who want to book more business and make money monetizing their message. And I've worked with Lois. She is fantastic. Check her out if you're looking for support in that area. She's worked in the speaking industry for 20 years and presented for NSA and PSA in several countries. So this is a global expert. In 2021, she was named honorary fellow for PSA England and Ireland. Congratulations, Lois.
Thank you. Thank you.
Lois is the author of Book More Business, Make More Money Speaking, which I have and love and have totally tabbed it in so many different ways. She's also the author of The Speaker Author, Sell More Books and Book More Speeches. She's an avid reader, has a rescue dog named Gigi for an intern, and although she has traveled extensively over the years, her only layover has been in her kitchen. Welcome, Lois. So Lois, let's dive in. For anyone who doesn't know you and building off of the introduction that we had, tell us a little bit about who you serve, how you do what you do, and why you do it.
Well, Paula, I think I have the nichest business in the world. I've spent the last 20 plus years working exclusively in the speaking industry as a consultant and a coach. And I work with speakers, consultants who want to book more business, make more money, and monetize their intellectual property. Subject matter experts, consultants, people who want visibility and want speaking engagements come to me. And I'll tell you, I work with anybody from people who are jump starting a speaking practice to Hall of Famers, people who are very well known with New York Times bestsellers, who want to be on more stages, and actually some who want to be on fewer stages, but for more money, which is another shift in business that we make from time to time. But my whole focus is, how do you make real money doing this work? How do you leverage your intellectual property into other profit streams besides speaking? That's been my big thing the last several years. That is absolutely key in our industry right now.
Yeah, and from having personally worked with you, I can say that you have just such a no nonsense, but supportive approach to here's what you're wasting your time on. Here's what you need to be focusing. Here's what is going to get you the stages, the bookings, the clients, and my business is where it is because of you. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you. What Paula is saying is I'm very blunt. And my clients know this. But, Paula, I've always said that I'm not a happy talker. People hire me because they want to make money. Something they're doing isn't working. And I say my best market intelligence are my clients out there like you, people who are doing it and letting me know what works and what doesn't.
Yeah. And you don't sugarcoat things. I wouldn't call it blunt. I call it being very, honest, an honest approach, which can be rare in our industry because so many people are just selling to sell you, and you're not. You're there to really help advance and move the ball and the needle forward. So I really appreciate the work that you do.
And I appreciate your kind words. I'll tell you, when you work in a really niche marketplace, I have always said, Paula, I can't afford unhappy clients. I work in a very niche industry. So if I don't think I can help you, I will let you know right away, because it's not in either one of our best interest for us to work together.
That's what I love about you. All right, moving along. So you said that the speaking business has changed, and even on your website, you say it's not just good enough to be good on stage anymore. So giving all the choices that speakers are navigating right now, what stood out most to you out of the hijack that you think applies to this industry and what we're doing?
Well, I have to say, what hit me the hardest in your book was your core premise that burnout isn't actually the problem. The problem is how are we approaching and making choices in a more deliberate way, making conscious decisions under pressure. What are our unconscious habits? And by the way, I saw myself in your book, by the way, which was a good thing because it's made me more aware of my thinking patterns and the way I'm approaching things, stress responses, old habits. Sometimes we find old habits running the show and we don't even realize it's happening. I think that this core premise that I think that really spoke to me in your book is so appropriate for entrepreneurs and small business people, consultants, coaches. I see this consistently in the people that I work with. They're talented, they're committed, they're working hard. And yet sometimes they keep making the same choices, Paula, that gets them stuck every time. And one of the, well, me too, in all honesty.
It's the way our brain works.
It is. And I think that you really have made me be more aware of those subconscious choices that I'm making during the day. I don't know whether to thank you or be mad at you, but at this point, I'm going to thank you because I think it's going to help me long term. But I see this an example like avoiding sales conversations. A lot of people in the intellectual property business actually underprice themselves. They want to feel ready for bigger opportunities. They think these are rational decisions, but a lot of times they're taking the easy way out. They're kind of on autopilot. And I know that you've seen the same thing that I have, Paula, in this industry.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your kind words and for sharing your insights. I too was blown away when that's what I discovered as I was recovering from my health crisis and getting back on track and stepping back into the business world. And just the fact that so much of our choices are driven by our unconscious patterns and habits and default decisions that I appreciate that you recognize that. And you're welcome. I'm sorry that's going to annoy you from time to time, but
that's okay.
In the long run, it's helpful.
It is going to be helpful. And I'll tell you, these are the things sometimes I was on autopilot.
We all are.
I saw, as I told you, I saw myself in your book. I thank you for not mentioning my name. You might have thought of me as an example. But, the good thing is as we become more aware of these things, we can make better choices. And that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. And just to clarify, it's not a bad thing that we have an autopilot because honestly, if we didn't, we'd never get out of the house in the morning, right? But it's when our autopilot isn't aligned with what we need and what our goals are and what we're wanting. So that's where that awareness piece comes in. And now you get to do the fun work of reprogramming when it's not working for you.
Yes, absolutely right. Absolutely right.
So a lot of experts are deeply committed to their messages, but they still struggle to package or sell it with confidence. And what do you think gets in their way?
I think that usually it's one of two things. Sometimes it can be both, quite frankly. Either they don't have a clear, specific positioning statement. And by that, I mean the answer to the question, what do you do? Paula knows this well. But one of the things I've hung my hat on for 25 years is being able to answer that question in a compelling and succinct way, to draw interest and to engage a possible buyer or prospect in what you do. So when you don't have that, a great positioning statement, you're trying to be everything to everyone. Or you've conflated, lots of times speakers conflate selling with being pushy. Mm-hmm. And they've decided that, that's not who I am. I'm not comfortable selling. Here's the truth. If you have a message and and you feel confident about that message, and that message genuinely helps people, you owe it to put yourself out there and sell it. This is not a selfish choice. People aren't going to know about us unless we talk about ourselves. And, I often get told, Paula, I don't like selling myself.
I think I've told you that.
I think everybody's told. I've told myself that on occasion. Usually most days I don't. But here's the thing. I don't know who we think's going to talk about us. I don't have anybody talking about me, but you did it.
So we don't have a PR team, right?
Exactly right. That's exactly right. Most of us mere mortals don't have PR teams. So we do have to learn how to talk about ourselves in not a braggy way, but in a way that lets people know what's in it for them. To me, that's the whole thing for anybody who's selling a product or a service, quite frankly. What's in it for them? What are the outcomes of working with us? For speakers, I say this all the time. What are the outcomes of working with you? Because if you aren't clear on what those outcomes are, the buyer is not going to be confident in buying your services. And as speakers and consultants, we have to really speak directly to the ROI of us to that buyer, why we are worth the money we're asking to give a presentation to their employees or their association or their group. And I've also been known to say this, but don't tell anybody. If you don't like talking about yourself, you might want to get into another line of business. Because the reality is,
I remember you saying that over and over again. Yep.
We have to.
And what I love about your approach too is, so when I started working with you, when you asked me, what do? I remember telling you the process I take people through. And you're like, no, that's not what we're talking about. What difference do you make for me if I work with you? And that's the awareness you brought for me, that light bulb coming on of, oh, because they don't really care how I bring them there. What they care about is, can you get results?
Yes, not at that point, they don't care. Right. I always say a buyer, when they are psychologically, I've studied this is how boring I am. They want to know, do I want the outcomes that you bring, Paula?
Right. And that was pivotal for me.
Yes. And then they want to know, do you have a framework? Have you done this before? And are you the messenger for me? Because most of us have competition in the marketplace. Mm-hmm. But the first thing they want to know is what is in this for me? And too often, my sense is that entrepreneurs and speakers start talking about themselves and their background, when that isn't what people are interested in. They want to know, what can you do for me? Then they want to know, have you done this before? And tell me a little bit about yourself.
Right. And so that was really pivotal for me. That was my awareness awakening in working with you. And when you think about how the brain works, we're designed to want to feel safe. We're designed to want to feel secure. So our brain is it's resistant to anything we don't know. So if we can talk to them from the perspective of what they're wanting,
yes,
then they're more eager to lean in. Right. So thank you for that.
Yes. At every part of the process, they're more eager to lean in.
So what is one intentional choice that you would encourage speakers to take, or experts to take this week if they want to move their business forward?
I think decide who you're for. Instead of saying, I work with leaders in business, get really, really specific. What industry? What problem? What outcomes? Because when you get clear on that, your marketing, your outreach, all of your material, your website will be able to do the job that you want it to. I think clarity in an intellectual property business like ours is the foundation of everything. So I think the best gift you can give yourself is to get clear, create that positioning statement, and then decide on a target market. And I've told the story that inevitably when I speak to groups of professional speakers, someone will come up to me and say, I have a great new program on sales. And I'll say, great, who would benefit from it? And they'll say, Paula, anyone. who wants to be better at sales will love this. And my reply is always, let's go call everybody and see if they're interested. Yep. And I want that to be in people's minds, because when everyone is a prospect, we end up doing nothing, I'm saying from experience, because we don't know where to begin. We don't have a roadmap. So picking a lane, I think, is important. You can take some time early in your career to find that lane, speak in different industries, but where does my message really resonate? What is an easier sale? What industry is an easier sale for me? And where do I know I make a big difference? Where do I have a history of success? Those are the things that help you become clear about who you should be talking to.
And I love that you preface that with to make a choice, because that's really what it comes down to. We're making so many choices that we don't realize we're making. And by not making a choice, you're also making a choice, right? So choosing to pick a target market is probably one of the hardest things I went through in my early stages of business.
Yes.
One of the things you helped through that, because we feel like we're limiting our opportunity. And as you've shared, and as I'm sure all of your clients have discovered, is once you narrow, that opens up the opportunity, because there is so much opportunity within that niche.
Yeah, you start creating a momentum. When I used to speak on sales to corporations and associations, financial services was my sweet spot. And every time I worked for a bank, a credit union, a mortgage house, or a real estate company, the next bank, credit union, mortgage house, and real estate company was more interested in me. And this kind of does full circle come back to the first thing we talked about, choice, in your book. Because I say not making a choice is a choice.
Yep. Absolutely.
It's not a good one, but it's a choice, isn't it?
No, and inevitably we have to make the choice down the road, whether we do it now or later, and it facilitates our growth and development in our business.
I think so. Yep.
So where can people learn more about you? Where can we find you? What exciting things do you have coming up? How can we celebrate you?
Well, thank you for asking. My website is bookmorebusiness.com. You can find all of my social media addresses on there. You can find out how to get a hold of me in every way. You can reach out to me through my website. My website tells you exactly what I do, how I do it. My latest exciting thing is a new AI platform that I have put 25 years of my intellectual property on, called Lois247.com. And it's brand new. And it's like working with me. And you can subscribe to it. You can also go on free. I would urge anyone, there's a free option for a limited time, but go on, play with it. If you're a speaker, I think that you'll find some way that it can help you. But you can buy it yearly, monthly, whatever works for you, but free works for everybody. So I would urge people who are interested to go on and take a look at it. But, I'm excited about our industry. I think there's never been a better time to be a professional speaker, even though we find ourselves sometimes in challenging markets. These things are cyclical. Mm-hmm. And Paula, you and I both know this. But I do think that with clear positioning, making these deliberate choices, we're going back to this again, about who you serve, what your message is, and what the outcomes of that message could mean to a buyer, that to me is the clear way to make sales in this kind of business.
Absolutely. And you so well, you say that so well, like there's no doubt in what you need to do to be successful in your business. And I value and appreciate your expertise for joining me today. Definitely going to check out your AI model. That's exciting. I'm thrilled for you. That's brand new. I haven't heard about that yet. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you so much for being here, Lois. And I look forward to collaborating with you again in the future.
Thanks, and good luck on this book. Everybody, I got an early look at this book. And if you want to find a way to move forward in your life and your business, it's a great read.
Thank you, Lois. I appreciate it.